And I love the head shake. And I love the nod. Because this is about racism. And if you can't hear it from them, then hear it from me. As a white woman and a daughter of a man of privilege and power, he knew that his strength was to bring people that didn't look like him to the table of government. And so 50 years later, after Barbara Jordan, aided by white people to have a voice, the first woman of color elected to the South, a woman who sat in the impeachment of Nixon, a woman who said that finally, after amendment, debate, and vote, I am finally part of we the people.
Texas politics just got heated. State Representative Johnson is calling out the GOP's new redistricting maps as nothing less than a blatant racist power grab. She accuses the Texas GOP of pushing legislation that unfairly targets communities of color. Johnson frames these moves as a power grab designed to suppress voter influence and representation. Before we dive in, let's watch the full clip together, and I will give you my reaction at the end.
In 1972, Barbara Jordan ran for Congress. Texas, House District 18. When I looked around my house as a little girl, there was a painting of the Storytellers. It was her favorite painting that my dad had. Black men speaking to youth about their history and about their future. As I look around the room of white men, I think about my dad. And I love the head shake. And I love the nod. Because this is about racism. And if you can't hear it from them, then hear it from me. As a white woman and a daughter of a man of privilege and power, he knew that his strength was to bring people that didn't look like him to the table of government. And so 50 years later, after Barbara Jordan, aided by white people to have a voice, the first woman of color elected to the South, a woman who sat in the impeachment of Nixon, a woman who said that finally, after amendment, debate, and vote, I am finally part of we the people. To stand here as a 50-year-old woman and know that we now go back in time. So let's talk about cowardice and cheats. Because if you knew you could win this next election, you wouldn't be taking this effort to try to steal 5 seats from elected officials that members of color elected to represent them in Washington, D.C. You wouldn't be doing everything you can to take this coalition of diversity and stand up at the mic and say, why are we doing this? Because we can. And you shield your racism with your party, with ignorance and arrogance, to come up here and say, to be honest with you, I haven't read the bill from the other side. To be honest with you, I haven't talked to the lawyers to be bringing this before it. Because you think that people will give you grace on ignorance and arrogance around party, because you can't admit that the root of all of this is about racism and power. A power grab. A pure power grab. And so I'm going to ask, don't shake your head, because I'm going to give you a moment to prove what you mean behind that. Because when Donald Trump called Georgia Republicans and said, hey, boys, I need you to steal me almost 12,000 votes. To those men credit, they said, no, sir. We already know what Governor Abbott said. In a few minutes, we're going to find out what y'all say. Vote no on this bill.
Johnson says Republicans are trying to redraw maps mid-decade, not because of population changes, but to steal 5 extra congressional seats. She calls it racism disguised as policy, reminding people of Barbara Jordan's legacy and warning that GOP leaders are hiding behind arrogance and ignorance. She argues that breaking quorum, walking out of Capitol, wasn't abandoning Texans, but protecting democracy from unconstitutional power plays. And she makes it clear, the real abandonment comes from leaders who ignore flooding, safety, and real issues while focusing on silencing voters of color. This is fiery, emotional, and straight to the point. And Johnson isn't mincing words. She's saying this is about race, power, and democracy itself. Whether you agree or not, it's a bold stand that forces us to think. Is this fair representation or political manipulation? So, what do you think? Is Representative Johnson right to call this a racist power grab? Or is this just politics as usual in Texas? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real talk on politics that matter.